Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the news first, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. No final decision on domestic debt restructuring, says Cabinet spokesperson. SOE reforms are on the card, says Foreign Minister. Cabinet green light to reinstate public sector employees contesting local government election. Deadlines to apply for AL paper marking extended. Rainy weather conditions to continue, says Med Department. Dental ward complex at the University of Peradeniya Teaching Hospital vested with the public by Gammadda. Today we celebrate World Press Freedom Day under the theme of shaping a future of rights, freedom of expression as the driver for all other human rights. Hailed as the fourth pillar of democracy, journalists have time and time again risked their lives and reputation to reveal the truth behind an incident, event or scandal. In a bid to appreciate their hard work, every year 3rd of May is observed as World Press Freedom Day.
World Press Freedom Day was first celebrated in 1993 following the recommendation of the General Conference of UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. The date 3rd of May was chosen to commemorate the Windhoek Declaration, a statement of press freedom principles put forth by African journalists in Namibia in 1991. Since then, World Press Freedom Day has been celebrated annually on the 3rd of May. 2023 celebrates the 30th World Press Freedom Day. According to the International Federation of Journalists, journalists worldwide are facing the most challenging times. They are reporting on daily life events and exceptional moments under extreme conditions. Many reporters covering natural disasters face dangerous and unpredictable situations, just like those who risk their lives reporting live from the Syrian war zone.
Media centers.
It's a unique job. Exposing some of the most powerful, the most violent people in the world want nothing more than to be kept quiet.
Limiting press freedom to a specific day or theme is an ongoing process in many countries. Recent reports indicate that 929 journalists have been killed globally over the past 10 years. Iraq is the most dangerous country for journalists, followed by Syria. Sri Lanka has also been adversely affected by threats to press freedom in recent decades. The recently introduced anti-terrorism bill in the spotlight has raised serious concerns regarding media freedom as well. In 2021, Norway topped the World Media Freedom Index, which ranks 180 countries based on press freedom. However, Sri Lanka's ranking was down to 146 in 2022.
Minister of Mass Media Bandulu Gunawardena commented on the World Press Freedom Day 2023.
The executive, legislature, judiciary and the media are the pillars that form a just society. It is the duty and responsibility of the government to ensure that journalists can engage in their duties freely without any form of intimidation or threat. The present government has carried out this duty and responsibility to perfection. During the tenure of the government, we have never received reports that journalists were intimidated for criticizing the government or for even presenting false facts. At the same time, the journalists and the media institutions are also responsible to act intelligently to secure media freedom.
Cabinet has granted approval to reinstate public sector employees who submitted nominations to contest the local government election.
As the local government election was postponed indefinitely, public sector employees who submitted nominations to contest the elections are in limbo. The Election Commission probed this matter at length and decided to reinstate them to serve at a workplace outside their respective electorate. and to provide them with their basic salary. The cabinet approved the proposal put forward by the Prime Minister.
ඔවුන්ට අවශ්‍ය මූලික වැටුප ලබා දෙන්නත් ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා ඉදිරිපත් කළ යෝජනාවට කැබිනට් අනුමැතිය ලබා දුන්නා.
දේශීය ණය ප්‍රශස්ත කර
Domestic debt restructuring is something that is being discussed widely. It was said that a final decision would be reached in April as per the presentation made by the central bank to the investors. What is the latest development on domestic debt restructuring?
බඳව තත්ත්වය අවසන් තීරණයකට එළඹ තිබෙනවාද?
කිසිසේත් අවසන් නිගමනයකට එළඹලා නැහැ.
We have not reached a final decision. Various factions are trying to create unnecessary fear by claiming that the funds in deposits will be in danger and the EPF will be depleted. Those are nothing but talk. We are engaged in a series of expert discussions. The external debt restructuring process is yet to be finalized. In addition, the President said that when it comes to domestic debt restructuring, the EPF beneficiaries will not be at a disadvantage. The respective committees have been vested with the responsibility to strategically look at this.
පාදක අරමුදල් හිමියන් අවාසිදායක බලපෑමක් නොවන ආකාරයට උපාය මාර්ගයක ක්‍රමවේද සකස් කර ගැනීම පිළිබඳ ඒ කමිටු වලට වගකීම් බාර දීලා තියෙනවා.
Foreign Minister Ali Sabri, speaking to Channel News Asia, says that by next year, Sri Lanka will see growth despite concerns of a recession in 2023.
Are you on track to completing the debt restructuring process in time for the first review in September? That's about 4 months away.
Yeah, fingers crossed that we have made a lot of progress as far as the prior actions are taken before the EFF was approved. All the prior actions except some minor ones have been controlled, and as you very clearly see, we have introduced price sensitive, cost reflective pricing in so many areas, and SOE reforms are on the card, and tax reforms have come into play. So there is a sense of stability in the country, and we have eliminated all sorts of queues and the shortages. One thing is very clear on our mind, that any debt restructuring should be equal treatment for all. It has to be a kind of a universal same application or debt relief or otherwise. So we are confident, just like we managed to secure the debt restructuring assurances from our friends and the creditors, we should be able to restructure it.
Mr. Sabri, talking about that port investment, Beijing will invest even more money in the logistics complex at Colombo Port. It is your first major foreign investment since the default. How confident are you of the benefits this will bring to the economy versus the risks that some say could leave you more indebted to Beijing?
Then we don't agree with that, because most of this investment are not debt free. That is not, we are not taking any debt. These are investment, in fact. So in fact, if you look at that, 70% of that investment comes from the Beijing, and then 20% by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority and 10% of Sri Lankan company of the particular project what you are talking. And the port city itself is not a single rupee or a dollar had been borrowed on that. That's an investment. That's the kind of investment we are looking forward. I don't think in the short to medium term we are not going to borrow any longer and go and invest on infrastructure projects which are not conducive for return, and that there is a possibility for us to repay. So we are very careful. I think we have learned our lesson. We are a friendly country. We are open to do business with the east, south and west. So that is how we are. So I'm sure on the long run, that's what we are looking forward to.
Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Ali Sabri also met with Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Seoul, Korea, on the sidelines of the ADB's 56th annual meeting.
Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Ali Sabri met with Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and discussed further strengthening bilateral relations and economic partnership for the betterment of people of both countries. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri is in Incheon, South Korea, to attend the 56th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Asian Development Bank, representing President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The annual meeting is a high-level event attended by around 3,000 to 4,000 participants, including ministers of finance, governors of central banks, senior officials of the major global banks, companies and media. The foreign minister will deliver a statement at the governor's business session on the 4th of May 2023, among other interventions during the period. The minister is expected to have bilateral meetings with the counterparts of a number of other countries on the sidelines of the event to discuss Sri Lanka's ongoing engagements for economic revival. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri met with the President of the Asian Development Bank, Masatogo Asakawa, in the Republic of Korea during the 56th annual meeting of the ADB. The minister expressed Sri Lanka's gratitude for the excellent partnership and cooperation extended by the Asian Development Bank during a challenging period for Sri Lanka and for supporting the country's recovery process. Whilst conveying the best wishes of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Minister Sabri further sought technical support and financial assistance from the ADB in the spheres of digitalization, agriculture, renewable energy and financial sector stability. The ADB President expressed his appreciation for the encouragement work Sri Lanka has done so far to avert a greater crisis and for laying a stronger foundation of the country's recovery. The ADB President pledged to continue engagement with Sri Lanka with renewed vigour in a variety of areas.
China Merchants Group plans to build a Hambantota port into major logistics and industrial base.
The chairman of the China Merchants Group, China's largest diversified conglomerate, who was on a visit to Sri Lanka, says the group's latest investment plans will up its accumulative investments in the island to reach nearly $2 billion. Chairman Miao Jianmin, who is on his first visit to the country, attended a signing and ribbon-cutting ceremony held at the Hambantota International Port for 15 projects. The China Merchants Group, which entered the Sri Lankan market in 2008, accumulated a total investment of $1.68 billion as at the beginning of 2023. The group has just signed another investment agreement with the Sri Lankan government with plans to invest $400 million to build a modern logistics centre in Colombo. The new development will up China Merchants Group's accumulated investment in Sri Lanka to reach over $2 billion, making it the largest foreign investment enterprise in the island. Chairman Miao Jianmin said that China Merchants Group will continue to increase investments in Sri Lanka and plans to build Hambantota International Port into an imported logistics centre and industrial base on the island as well as the Indian Ocean region.
The lack of proper planning has led to a plethora of issues in Sri Lanka, and the human-elephant conflict is one such issue. A herd of elephants destroyed several cultivations in Mahavillachya, Anuradhapura on Tuesday night.
The people living in the Tandirimale, Vannihalabava and Valmalgama villages in the remote parts of the Mahavilachi area in the Anuradhapura district survive on crop cultivation. On Tuesday night, a herd of wild elephants entered the villages and destroyed all their cultivations. Pavor, banana, manioc and other cultivations were cared for by the local farmers were destroyed by the wild elephants in a matter of minutes.
Karim water edala, mama me karim matela leduna. I never does ever water near me to me palate. And I don't know some mama Magala Vatrella, Mama Pelayati, or Cometic Mumbo. Kamakine, Ali everything Kalaki.
According to the locals, despite the issue being raised with the respective authorities, their pleas have fallen on deaf ears. Wild elephants have destroyed property and cultivations across many villages in the Galkiriagama area. Locals claim that wild elephants on the Kala River and the Balalu River forest reservations encroach on their villages at night. Multiple cultivations cared for by the local farmers have been destroyed by wild elephants. These days, instead of having a good night's sleep, the villagers have been compelled to stay awake simply to ward off the wild elephants, to protect their crops, property and lives.
In a weather update this afternoon, transportation along the Namanukula Passara road was affected following an earth slip close to the 12th mile post. At the same time, multiple areas across Sri Lanka continue to experience torrential rainfall.
The earth slip close to the 12th mile post on the Namanukula Passara road was reported on Tuesday night. Locals in the area were severely affected since Wednesday morning as transportation along the road came to a complete standstill. Sri Lanka police requested locals to use alternative routes to reach their respective destinations, and the Road Development Authority has launched an operation to clear the road of debris. Lightning struck a shop in Gonagala in Uhuna Ampara on Tuesday evening, completely destroying the electricity system in the premises. No casualties were reported. The landslide early warnings issued to 3 divisional secretariats were extended. The National Building Research Organisation said that the early warnings were for areas in the Badulla, Kegol and Mathura districts. Early landslide warnings were issued to the Haldamulla and Pasara divisional secretariats in the Badulla district and the Kegol divisional secretariat in the Kegol district. The landslide warnings were issued to Kotapula and Paskoda divisional secretariats of the Mathura district as well. The Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Centre for the Badulla district, ELM Uday Kumara, requested that the tourists visiting Badulla to strictly follow the warnings and instructions given by the DMC. The Met Department said that the prevailing showery condition over the island is expected to continue further during the next few days as well. Showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy showers of above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Polonnaruwa district. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places elsewhere over the island.
The Sri Lanka Medical Association warned that the risk of dengue spreading with the inclement weather conditions is very high.
ඇතර මේ මොහොතේ අපි දන්නවා මීට කලිනුත් දැනුවත් වෙලා තියෙනවා ඩෙන්ගු රෝගය විශේෂයෙන්ම
We have already notified in the previous occasion that dengue will spread fast during the rainy seasons. As at this moment, around 30,000 dengue cases have been reported. 50% more of these patients are reported from Colombo and Gampar districts. The public are the ones who should be preventing this from spreading. We need to remove and destroy places conducive for mosquito breeding. We need to protect our children using mosquito nets or ointments. If you come down with fever, it is important to seek immediate medical attention.
ලක්ෂණ තියෙනකොට කඩිනමින් ඒ වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රතිකාර සඳහා යොමු වීම වැදගත්.
The ward complex at the Department of Oral, Maxillofacial and Oral Surgery at the University of Peradeniya Teaching Hospital, which was renovated and upgraded by Gammadda, was vested with the public today.
The renovated and upgraded ward complex at the Department of Oral, Maxillofacial and Oral Surgery was opened in the presence of Siobhan Daniel of the Gammadda movement, Professor Terence Madhujit, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Upul Bandara Tisanayaka, former Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, General Manager for Human Resources of Next Manufacturing Private Limited, Bharata Amarasinghe, Gammadda National Organizer Kennath Weerakodi, among others, participated.
We are here at the Dental Teaching Hospital of the University of Peradeniya. Many patients from around Sri Lanka receive treatment at this hospital, and the students of the University of Peradeniya also benefit from this hospital. However, staff and patients receiving treatment in this hospital have been facing various challenges due to the lack of facilities at the ward complex of the Department of Oral, Maxillofacial and Oral Surgery. Gammadda joined hands with Next Manufacturing Private Limited to renovate and upgrade this ward as well as install new medical equipment. And today this completed project was handed over to the people. Reporting from Peradeniya for the News First Team, I'm Dithmini De Silva.
The ward complex of the Department of Oral, Maxillofacial and Oral Surgery of the Dental Faculty of the University of Peradeniya serves scores of people in Kandy and surrounding areas. Unfortunately, over the years, the roofing, beds and even the doctor's break room at the ward complex were in a dilapidated state. The ward itself required a fresh coat of paint. Following a request made to Gammadda to renovate the ward complex and install new equipment, a project was launched on the 10th of December 2022. The project was made possible by a kind donation from Next Manufacturing Private Limited.
News First with the people.
The National Vesak Week commenced from Wednesday, and in line with the celebrations, 100 monks launched a Pindapatha journey, which means placing of food in a bowl, from the Hunapitiya Gangarama temple in Colombo.
Vesak marks the birth, enlightenment and passing away of the Buddha. This year, Vesak Poya falls on the 5th of May. The State Vesak Festival will be held at the Kabel level Sri Ratanasiri Bhikkhu Training Centre and Mahapirivana, Chilau. Many religious programs are underway to mark the Vesak week. 100 monks launched a Pindapatha journey, which means literally placing of food in a bowl, from the Hunupitiya Gangarama temple in Colombo to the Colombo Municipal Council premises.
The deadline to apply online for advanced level paper marking has been extended. The closing date for the applications was on Tuesday.
The Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara stated application acceptance has been extended till Thursday midnight. He noted that teachers have the opportunity to submit applications to evaluate the answer scripts for 12 subjects in the GCE Advanced Level Examination. Accordingly, applications are called to evaluate the answer scripts for physics, chemistry, combined maths, agricultural science, biology, communication and media studies, business studies, engineering technology, biosystems technology, technology and science, and English. Retired teachers are also allowed to submit their applications for advanced level paper marking. The Commissioner General of Examinations noted that teachers who went into retirement after the 31st of December 2022 can also submit their applications. Meanwhile, paper marking of 2 subjects in the GCE Advanced Level Examinations has commenced. The examination department noted that paper marking of 8 more subjects is expected to commence in the near future. Meanwhile, the Federation of University Teachers Associations noted that they are yet to be given an appointment to meet with the President for talks. FUTA noted that university teachers will not engage in A-level paper marking until an appointment to meet with the President for talks is provided. The evaluation of advanced level answer scripts was delayed by over 2 months.
Shifting your attention to international news, cash-strapped Indian airline Go First filed for bankruptcy on Tuesday, blaming faulty Pratt & Whitney engines for the grounding of about half of its fleet.
The move marks the first major airline collapse in India since Jet Airways filed for bankruptcy in 2019 and underscores the fierce competition in a sector dominated by Indigo and the recent merger of Air India and Vistara under the Tata conglomerate. Go First's total debt to financial creditors was 65.21 billion rupees as of 28th of April, it said in a bankruptcy filing with the National Company Law Tribunal. In a statement, Go First said its filing followed a refusal by Pratt & Whitney, the exclusive engine supplier for the airline's Airbus A320neo aircraft fleet, to comply with an arbitration order to release spare leased engines that would have allowed the airline to return to full operations.
Sudan's warring military factions agreed to a new and longer 7-day ceasefire from Thursday. Neighbor and mediators South Sudan said, even as more airstrikes and shooting in the Khartoum capital region undercut their latest supposed truce.
Previous ceasefire pledges have ranged from 24 to 72 hours, but there have been constant truce violations in the conflict that erupted in mid-April between the army and a paramilitary force. South Sudan's foreign ministry said in a statement on Tuesday that mediation championed by its president had led both sides to agree a week-long truce from Thursday to the 11th of May and to name envoys for peace talks. The current ceasefire was due to expire on Wednesday. Al Jazeera television said Sudanese army warplanes were targeting RSF positions and anti-aircraft fire could be heard from Khartoum.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satines, and you take care and have a great rest of the day.